Unwittingly,
Yeah.
as the two of us have gotten to our present age in the 80s, in our 80s, we're not only musicians of the present, but we're also bridges between the past and the future also.
How do you feel about that? Some sense of responsibility? And do you feel that in terms of maintaining traditions, or?
I think that you can't control tradition or any of this, that these cultural movements and music and fashions, let's say, in music, they're like tectonic plates, you know. You can't stop them from moving. You know,
for sure.
They may move an inch at a time every year,
Yeah.
but you can't stop them. So, I mean, when we started out, there was nothing like the Baroque era, right?
Right.
And then the whole cultural revolution took place in terms of the Baroque era. That probably has some good and some bad in it, but it changed things, and those things pop up. So I think it's important for us to educate our younger people through how we think and how we play music. But they're children of another era. And so they'll pick and choose. They'll say, this thing that Steinhardt did, no, I don't like that. But that thing, yeah, that's food for thought. And so all you can do is serve yourself up on a platter.
Yeah.
You know?
One that goes around like this, yeah.
A lazy Susan.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of a long play record, but
my son, we were talking about LP records. My son, who was a teenager, came by and said, "Hey, Dad, what's an LP record?"
I know, I get that all the time. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But so, I mean, I think we've both lived long enough to know that performance practices change. And so, and I'm sure you've thought about that. So when you hear people say, well, Beethoven would have wanted it this way, or it wasn't played this way in Bach's time, that sort of thing. How do you reconcile that with perhaps today's values?
Well, first of all, you have a lot of chutzpah telling me how Beethoven was played in his time, or Bach. How the hell do you know?
I just spoke to him last night.
Do you remember that place in the end of the Cavatina, which in several places, you know, Opus 69 cello sonata also, where is it da, or is it da instead of 2 eighth notes, or is it a quarter note?
Yeah, of course.
And in the end of the Cavatina, how is it? Is it whoa, whoa,
right,
whoa,
or the end of the Heilige Gedankensong, it's the same thing, whether it's 2 tight eighth notes rather than a quarter note.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Yes.
So our first rehearsal with the Cavatina in Binghamton at Harper College, we had open rehearsals. We got to know the kids, and one of the kids told us that she could speak to the dead. And she was a rather humorless young lady, and so we were arguing about that. And David said, "Cynthia, you said you could speak to the dead. Could you speak to Beethoven about this?" She said, "Yes, I could."
Oh my God.
So. Yeah. The next time we came, which was a month later, we came to the same place and said, "Cynthia, Dave said, did you speak to Beethoven?" She said, "I did." "And what did he say about this passage?" He said, "You should do it any way you want." Thanks a lot, Cynthia. Faithfulness to the score.
Yes.
What all of us learn, and maybe unlearn, is by the act of working with real composers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm sure you've done that with countless composers, right. with commissions that you've made, and right. we have done it. And we'll say, oh yeah, I like what you did there. Let's just change it, you know. Or it just occurred to me, maybe we could do this. I could change the notes here, and there's a kind of loosey-goosey relationship, not just with the performers who are going to perform this person's composition for the first time, but loosey-goosey in terms of how he's thinking of his compositions. And if it's with Mozart, is there a dot on this note or is there not a dot on the note? We are so frenetic about offending a guy. Yes, he was a genius, but he was a working musician, you know, and, you know, he was working with a singer and said, oh yeah, this is not near registered, let me change it. And so that's one of the things of our era where we've gotten so tight about authenticity.